Hey, it is Dan Hall of Dan H411 Guitar Lessons, and today what I'm going to show you is some really cool tapping stuff using the A minor box, and specifically on this one I'm going to use the A minor pentatonic box, but I'm also going to do a second lesson that's going to be next week, which will show you the A minor Aeolian box as well. So I'll include some notes in that one that I'm not going to include in this one. But this one right here, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and look primarily at where the pentatonic position is and how to do some really cool tapping stuff. If you're a fan of Van Halen or anybody who does tapping, then I think you'll appreciate this lesson. Then next week we'll add some more to it and of course give you some more exercises as well. So these will be a couple of Licks and Tricks videos. I don't even know what episode of Licks and Tricks I'm at right now, but they'll be in the Licks and Tricks playlist. If you're looking for any cool Licks and Tricks, they'll be in there. So be sure to like, subscribe, share this video, and check it out. We're going to start off today by looking at the A Aeolian box, which is this one right here. But the only thing we're going to focus on over the next two lessons is going to be on the first and the second strings. And on the second string, we're going to play at the 5, 6, 8. And on the first string, we're going to play at the 5, 7, 8. Now in this lesson, we're going to look more at the pentatonic. So the pentatonic across those two strings is going to be at the 5, 8 on both strings. If I kept on going up the scale, then I would also play the 10th fret on both the first and the second string. So I'd play 5, 8, 10, and 5, 8, 10. For the tapping licks that we're going to be doing, we're going to be using those three frets. When we get to the next lesson, I'm also going to include the diatonics. I'm going to add a couple of notes, in which case on the first string, we're going to play 5, 7, 8, and on the second string, we're going to play 5, 6, 8. But we're still going to hover around the 10th fret for our tapping licks. So the first tapping lick we're going to look at on the pentatonic side of this is going to sound like this. And what we want to do with that one, in order to get proficient, before we get to the tapping part, is just take those four notes and be able to play them like that. So in that case, I'm basically playing on the first string, I'm playing 8, 5, and then going to the second string, playing 8, 5, and going back to the first, 8, 5, 8, 5, 8, 5, 8, 5. And that's a lick by itself. And then if we add the tapping in there, every time I play the 8, I'm also going to tap on the 10. So I'm going to play 8, the 8, 10, and then pull off, and then 8, 10, pull off to the 5. Now you can bar the 5th fret here, but it creates some additional noise. So what I like to do is I like to pick my index finger up and keep moving it back and forth. I'm not quite successful at doing that, but in a mix of a song, you wouldn't be able to hear that excessive noise that well. But you can also use a string wrap to help deaden some of your noise. Palm muting, muting with the fingers that you're playing with, those are all things that you got to work on. So that's the first one. We're bridging from here to here. The next one, we're going to go ahead and play it like this. And what we're doing there before I get to the tapping part is instead of every time I switch strings I go to the 8th fret, I'm actually starting the second string on the 8th fret, and then I'm going back to the 5th, back to the 8th, and then I'm just walking up the scale to the 5th on the first string, and then the 8th on the first string, and then I'm just walking back the scale. So back to the 5th, second string, 8th, back to 5th on the second string, back up to 8th, back up to 5th. So remember that first one was just, and this one's Again, you can go ahead and practice that lick by itself. But this time, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and every time I switch strings, instead of tapping, I'm going to go back down the scale and then come up the scale and tap right there, and then come up, tap right there, right? So it's going to be, then back up the scale, see, I walked all the way up the scale, and I'm going to go back down the scale. Nice and slow. Now you can reverse that as well, where we go up the scale and we tap. And a lot of times when we switch these things, like we go backwards and forwards, it's actually playing with our brain, playing with our muscle memory, and helping us learn new techniques. Even if we never use them in the future, it just helps us solidify those things into our muscle memory. So this one's a little bit different. We're going to go up the scale. And right here we're going to tap. We're going to tap right here. And then go up the scale. Tapping on here. So we're going from 10 to 5. Then we're going to go up the scale. And then 5 to 8 to 10. And tap right there. Like that. Again, playing with your brain, tricking your brain to do something that it's not used to, right? So tap, that little tap right there doesn't feel right because we're not, but it's something you may not be used to, so go ahead and give it a try. Nice and slow. You can see how easy it is to mess up when you're doing that because, again, it may not be something you're used to. Not something I'm used to either, but that is the reverse of that one. So we've got this one. This one. And this one. So you got those 3 licks right there that will help you improve not only your tapping, but your pentatonic licks as well, because you can go ahead and leave the tapping part off and just play. Or this one. Or this one. And give you some cool little licks. And of course you can apply those across the shape. Like, we don't have to just play on the first and second strings. Any place that you can find those 4 pentatonic notes that fit well across the shape, you can go ahead and play the same thing there. Like, I can go ahead and take this across. And then I can go ahead and play with the tapping. And if you know the next box up, then you know exactly where you need to tap. So looking at your different boxes, you'll be able to find out exactly where you need to tap when you're doing these kinds of things. As always, thanks for checking out my lessons. I got lessons on here every single week, so don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And then don't forget that I've got a free 7-day course at tinyurl.com/danh411. So if you check out that course, you'll get signed up to my mailing list, and I'll let you know every time I put out lessons, anytime I put anything in my Patreon, where you can go over and you can support me, and I appreciate that support. That's awesome. And then also I've got merch and all kinds of cool stuff out there, but I'll send you all that as emails. But mainly, you get that free course, so it's a win-win. 7-day free course, help you unlock the fretboard, show you how the scale shapes lock together like puzzle pieces, and everything I do pretty much hinges on how to find all these really cool things within the scale shapes, how to make the scale shapes movable, and how to move things around so the fretboard becomes a circle, The scale shapes themselves become circles, and you can pretty much find these things anywhere on the fretboard, play any song over any key, pick up the guitar and improvise, and like I always say, just pick up the guitar and go. So again, that 7-day course is at tinyurl.com/dnh411. If you enjoyed this lesson, love to see you in the comments. If you have any questions about the tapping stuff, or if there's anything that gave you like an aha moment and you're like, oh, I didn't know I could do that, then let me know, because I would love to hear from you, and I try my best to answer the comments. And if I don't, I might come back to them and maybe reference them in a future lesson. So I might also do that as well. So thanks for checking this one out. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Get that free course, and I'll see you in the next one.